Hi, and welcome to Can Do Heart and Mind's Burnout Buster. It's day 3, and today we've been talking about the script, that negative voice, that negative thing that keeps going on and on about how you're not good enough, how you shouldn't be doing this, that, or the other, and it just sneaks in and makes you feel useless and hopeless and all the things that you wouldn't choose if you could choose. Now, I've had a couple of instances of the script that I wanted to share with you because one of them was when I really caught it out. Now, I'm quite tall. I'm 5'8.5", which in European standards is 174 centimeters. So I've always been one of the tallest in my class and among my friends groups. And for a long, long time, because my friends were a little bit shorter, I felt really big and clumsy and like I couldn't do anything because I was too tall. And my negative voice would tell me that I should have been shorter, that I should have been, more lithe and more elfin, basically. And then and I've had that for years and years, and it's always been a thing. And then a few years ago, I was out for lunch with a friend of mine who is 6 foot. And that same little voice, that same nagging little awkward thing actually came out and said to me inside my head that, oh, look, isn't she fantastically tall? And shouldn't I have been taller? And that was the first real moment for me to realize that, oh my goodness, there is something really silly going on here. And actually, a lot of the time, this script isn't telling the truth. It will beat you up for things that you have no way of influencing anyway. There is no way that I could be either shorter or taller. And it's not like I could, either cut my legs off or somehow magically make them shorter. And I certainly couldn't stretch them either. So it will find ways of keeping you safe by keeping you small. And that is the most common thing, is to stay small so that you don't rock the boat and you don't effectively get thrown out of the cave because there are, saber-toothed tigers out there and you can't bring down a mammoth by yourself. And that's where a lot of this comes from. So that was one of the funniest ones, and one of the ones that absolutely made me howl with laughter, because it was so hypocritical. Either I was too tall or I was too short, or I was just right exactly the way I am. I couldn't be both at the same time. Now, I don't magically, not have the script turn up and tell me things even now. I've spent 13 years doing this, and even now it will come in and it will catch me out, and it will make me feel like I have to be perfect and I have to do everything exactly right. Otherwise, I'm just as useless and everything as I used to be. And that's a thing. But what I have learned is I'm a lot better at ignoring it, at kind of looking at it like a 5-year-old child who's afraid of the dark and who doesn't want you to go out into the dark because there could be monsters. You know there aren't any monsters out there, but your 5-year-old doesn't. And your own 5-year-old doesn't know that what the script is telling you is not true. So I try. I don't always succeed. Usually I get there in the end, but I don't always succeed at the time. But I try and remember that I'm essentially dealing with a 5-year-old child. And all I really have to do is pat it on the head and go, yes, yes, I know that you think that, and that's okay, but I'm not going to listen. I don't have to listen. Now that sounds brilliantly easy. It's very simple. It's not easy. In some ways, it's almost too simple. My brain likes to complicate things, and I like to sort of go into the patterns and all of that things. But here it is actually that simple. It's just not easy to do. And so it's taken me a long time to get to where most of the time I can spot it coming and handle it. And sometimes I can't. But I spend a much shorter time listening to it than I used to. And that's part of the importance as well. So I was going to talk about a couple of experiences. Well, one of the other things is that I don't like doing certain things with my tractor. Now, I actually really enjoy playing with the tractor. I've got a sort of compact but ride-in, so it's not one of those tiny ride-on ones, but it's not a great huge one like the ones you see on the road a lot. But my problem is that it's quite narrow, and so when the ground is a little bit unlevel, it feels very much like it's tipping very far, even though it's not going very far at all in reality. But my brain doesn't like it, and especially doesn't like it if it's tipping to the right. If it's tipping to the left, I can cope with it better than if it's tipping to the right. And that's how I know that there is an element of the script in this. Because if it was an actual feeling of feeling unsafe, it would be the same on both sides. But I don't like it. I still go ahead and do it, and I will eventually, at times, get out of the tractor and just look at it and go, yeah, okay, that isn't actually anywhere near the degree that it feels like when I'm sitting inside. And so I'm able to then override it a little bit and kind of go, I might not like it, but I'm going to go ahead anyway. and, and that's another way of doing things is, okay, I accept I'm scared of this, and that's okay. I can still do it. There are a couple of other things that I haven't quite got to that stage with, and heights is one of those. I'm not very good at heights, but that's okay. For the time being, I can live with that, and eventually I will work on that too. So I hope that gives you a few ideas of the things that your script might be doing to you. These are the things that my version of it does for me. And that level of stress that can come with having the script very active in your mind, that negative voice constantly berating you for not doing things right, can actually be a huge part of burnout. And so that's why we've spent a whole day on it today. Hope that makes sense. Do send any comments, any questions, pop them into the comments below, and I will speak to you tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening.